Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hmm? Have you felt the full moon? I don't know if you noticed that, but if you are a little bit present and aware of what's going on around you, if you step out of your tiny little personal reality, and you see yourself as a tiny little part of the big picture of life, hmm, then you start noticing how your feelings, how your thoughts, how your inner atmosphere is connected to everything that goes on around you. And that's when you start also noticing how your thoughts and how your emotions and how your overall feeling is connected also to the movement of the planets. And for example, to the full moon, right? And full moon usually, it pulls up a lot of things that we might usually put into a drawer we don't want to address. It might bring up thoughts into our mind that we still haven't resolved, that we still have to deal with. It might bring up more inner resistance, and it might bring up energy that helps us to transform our ideas about ourselves, about how we see life, how we see ourselves and others, right? So it can create a lot of movement in us. And this might confuse our mind, right? Because our mind doesn't like change, right? Our mind has fixed ideas how we should be, how others should be, how life should be, right? But life is change. And you notice this every single day. For example, if you look at the moon, that something is changing continuously, right? So if everything around us is changing, how or why does our mind have such a hard time with accepting that we also change every single day? Every single day, something changes, right? And if our mind can't deal with it, then we have to deal with it. We have to teach our mind how to deal with it. So when you notice changes or when you notice these thoughts from the past coming up and you feel a little bit low and a little bit gloomy and a little bit heavy, right? And your mind doesn't want to accept this. And your mind starts attacking you and blaming you and shaming you and criticizing you. Then tell your mind to stop. Tell your mind to stop and tell your mind to accept that not every day is the same. And you might even go through a period of weeks where things simply don't work as they usually do, where you as a human being simply just don't function as you usually do, because that's nature, that's life. And we are, we got so used to a certain way of life that in which we simply have to function, right? We always have to look at the clock, right? We always have to follow certain timetables, schedules. We have appointments, and all of this how we structure our life does not consider that life itself, whatever is happening around us, the moon, the weather, anything, other people's energies, right, is influencing us, right, and how we feel and how we function, right? So we can't simply expect our human being to work in the same way every single day, and we don't have to force ourselves. You don't always have to be successful, you don't always have to be productive, you don't always have to be creative, you don't always have to be disciplined and stick to your routine. You can allow yourself to adapt, to tune in, to feel what's going on? What do you really need today? What's possible today? And what is a struggle today? You don't always have to push yourself and challenge yourself and criticize yourself for not functioning in the same way every single day, right? Life circumstances, they influence you. You know, if a big change is going on in your life, right? That is creating a change in your whole system and your thinking patterns, you know, and especially in your energy system. So allow your body, your human being, to go through these changes, right? And accept it. So I personally, I notice that, you know, I notice a lot, you know, when the weather changes now, it got really hot and I don't feel as energetic as I usually do, right? Then sometimes I feel like I want to spend more time alone. Sometimes I feel like I want to be really productive and I want to write and create projects. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I want to stay all day in bed, you know? So feel into yourself and allow yourself to live the changes, because that's life. Life is not as our mind wants it to be, you know, every day the same. And every day you're moving forward. You know, sometimes we have to move backwards. Sometimes we have to deal with our past. Sometimes we have to step back, take some time, and then we are again able to move forward. But allow the changes to happen. Don't always be immediately resistant to your own feelings and your own inner experiences. Because your feelings are real. You know, thoughts are most of the time imaginary, right? But your feelings are real. So feel the feelings. And then don't allow your mind to push you away from those feelings. Feel the feelings, go into them, and then think about what could cause these feelings, you know? And most of the time, if you're really aware, you find a connection. You might notice, maybe, you know, you had a difficult talk with a good friend of yours. Maybe some change happened in your life or at work. Maybe a thought from your past came up that really shook you up a little bit and you have to deal with that now. Maybe you notice that the phases of the moon influence your feelings. Maybe you feel that the weather is influencing how you feel, right? And then try to stay with these feelings. Try to accept them. Try to allow your body to feel this. And don't constantly push your body all the time over its limit, because you will only create suffering for yourself, right, with all this inner resistance. So, you know, be a little bit softer with yourself, a little bit kinder, gentle. Don't be so strict. Don't forget to be alive instead of constantly running after your material goals and objectives. That's not what life is about. If you forget what life is about, go into nature, look at nature, and see that maybe life is simply about being alive and moving through the changes of life with an inner balance, right? Because the changes happen anyways. And you can choose if you want to resist them or if you simply want to adapt to them and move in harmony with life itself and see yourself as a small atomic particle of life. You're not a separate being. You're not separate from everything else that is happening in life, in the universe. You are a part of that. So obviously you can feel the influence of everything around you. So accept that and don't be so hard on yourself. And the one that is hard on yourself is your mind, and you're not your mind. So if you notice negative talk in your mind, self-criticism, this inner resistance to what is, tell your mind to take it easy. Tell your mind to change the subject. Tell your mind it's okay. Nothing will change if I go a little bit slower. Nothing will really change if I allow myself a break. Nothing will really change, if I go a little bit, slower sometimes. And I'm not the person I used to be. Maybe there is a big transformation happening in you, because that's the moment, a lot of transformation is happening in the whole world, in the common or global consciousness. A lot of things are going on. A lot of people are waking up, to the truth, to what life is really about, because we notice that the life we've been leading is not doing us so good, and is not doing our planet good, right? So, and when all these transformations are happening, that creates feelings in your body, and that might cause you to feel a little bit more tired, a little bit more slow, but maybe you're simply more present, right? Maybe you simply need to sit down and look out of the window. Maybe you simply need to sit down under a tree or at the sea or at a river and look at life and remember what life's about, and that you're part of life, and that you don't have to run constantly after something in life. And you can just allow yourself to be alive. Think about that. And remember to be kind to yourself. Remember that whatever is going on in your mind, that's your business, right? And if you allow your mind to talk very negatively, if you allow your mind to complain and to shame and to blame and to criticize, that doesn't have any benefit. It will only pull you further down and make you feel bad. And you're an intelligent being. Your true self is pure intelligence, right? So why would you let your mind do something that has absolutely no benefit for you? Tell your mind, talk to your mind. Imagine your mind is your employee. Your mind has to work for you, right? And you can tell your mind to simply shut up or to move into the opposite direction. And you shift your focus and you tell your mind that everything is okay. That everything is okay. Even if your body is changing, even if your energy is changing, even if your overall feeling is changing somehow. It's feeling like your personality is changing. That's okay, because life is change, right? And maybe because you are so programmed that in life you always have to be active and you always have to be productive and you always have to be successful and to achieve more and to get more and to do what other people expect of you and to be careful what other people think of you. That can change. It doesn't always have to be like this. And when it changes and you feel changes in yourself, then don't look at them critically. Look at them as something exciting that is going on, and allow it to happen. Trust that good changes are happening right now. And slowing down is good. So, I don't know what you feel, how you feel about this, what you're struggling with, but maybe you want to share that here. And as soon as you share, you will notice that we are all pretty similar. We might have different programs in our mind. Our minds might run on different programs, but we are very, very similar, and we are struggling with the same things. And this is why we have to help each other and exchange our ideas and exchange our thoughts and exchange our feelings and our experiences, so we know that we are not alone and that there is something going on, shifts going on in consciousness in our world. right? And if you feel part of that, then you have strong experiences. And when we talk about those experiences, it helps us to deal with them, right? So share whatever you want to share. And I hope you're feeling okay.